You do, community. What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? And welcome to the Retired Hoodrat Podcast. It's your girl, comedian T.Barb, live on Detroit is Different. And I am so thankful to be back. If you guys have never listened to the show, you are in for an amazing, amazing treat. Each and every week, we are here to talk to you about what's going on and how you can retire from being a hood rat. Okay. And I do understand that relapse is a part of recovery. So sometimes it's hard to get up out of that, but we want to give you the tools here for you to live a better life. Today, we have some amazing, amazing guests in the building. We have your girl, Emily Parks from the Uplift Foundation. What's up, Emily?
What's going on, Tiff girl? What up, though?
What up, though? And we also have Tanisha from House of Angels One Inc. She's the
Hello,
executive
everybody.
director.
What up, though?
What up, though?
What
These
it
two
do in our
ladies
city?
are pillars in the community, and they're going to talk about not only the services they provide, but the importance of addressing childhood trauma and having therapy in the Black community. I think in the Black community, that's something that we don't think about often. So we want to put that on your mind and let you understand that there are things that happen to you as a child that you may not be addressing that may be stopping you now. Okay, so y'all ready to talk about that, ladies?
Yes.
Of course, that's
Yes.
after the Retired Hood Rat word of the day. So we're going to get right back with our guests in just a couple seconds. We like to start our show with a word of positivity because I believe that if you start something with a positive mindset, it's easier to go back into that mindset. And then we're going to do our Hood Rat prayer of the day. So today, what I wanted to talk about, and I always talk about this, but from different angles, is that comparison is so much of the thief of joy. I cannot stress to you enough that when you continue to compare yourself to others, you'll never be happy. If you continue to look to those that are so far above you, you won't understand and have gratitude for how far you've come. Okay. There are many of us that are in places in our life that we prayed so hard to be in those places. Yet when we get there, instead of expressing gratitude, we're so busy wanting more that we're not even thankful for being in that moment. But let me tell you something, baby. If they took it from you, then that's when you will be thankful. So that's just like your hands and your feet. You may not be as thankful for them when you have them, but if somebody chopped it off or you lost your fingers and your hands, I bet you would be praying and begging to have exactly what you have right now. So I want,
Yes.
it's somebody out there who don't feel like they doing enough. I'm talking to me. I'm somebody because I always feel unaccomplished. But when I look at how far I've come, when I
Yes.
look at being on Joy Road, being in a house full of roaches,
Yeah.
having parents with drug addictions, fresh out of prison, going to college on my own. And if I remember the first day I was at college by myself and how low I felt and how I didn't have any money to right now being able to go in the grocery store and eat what I want.
Yeah.
Now, in today's thought process, eating what you want, that ain't nothing. But as a young teenager on Joy Road, it meant everything to me. As a college student who barely had anything, if I think about where I'm at now, then I would have hauled ass to be who I am today. I
Mhm.
wouldn't even been able to believe that I am who I am. And that ain't from a comedy standpoint. That's just to have a college degree, to have an MBA. Hell, to have a home that I can come into with functioning heat, that I don't have to go down in the basement and plunge nothing. And I can go right in my car. Because I remember days where I prayed that my mama car would have some heat. Yes, our car didn't have heat. So for me to not have gratitude for where I'm at now because I'm so busy thinking about where I'm not, that's not acceptable. And I think that that stops us sometimes from really excelling because that is time and effort that we are spending focusing on negativity. If you took that same time that you spend focusing on why they don't like you, why they not dating you, why they turn on you, why you ain't have nothing, then guess what? How do you have time to focus on where you're going? How you can fix the problem? What more can you do to be where you want to be? So I just want to make sure that I let you guys know, always have gratitude. And if you're having a hard time finding gratitude in that moment, guess what? I want you to dig back into your bag from before. And shout out to my homeboy Pete. He is on here, right?
Mhm.
Pete Lewis 5447. I see you. Been around me since I was 17 years old. I did not have So I always think back to those days, not as a way to go back, but as a way to understand and appreciate the blessings that I have right now today. So that's your retired hood rat word of the day, that gratitude is important. And every time you don't feel as accomplished, think back to a time where you wish that you were where you were. So if you married, think back to when you were single and you wish you had a husband. If you got kids, think back to when you really wanted those kids. You got a promotion, think back to when you were doing everything you could to get that promotion, and be thankful in the moments. We always look into the future. Me too. But sometimes you just got to say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for putting me right here where I am today. That's it.
Yes.
Okay. Bet
Yes.
y'all didn't know I was the Ayanla of the ghetto. Okay. Everybody think I'm so ignorant. I'm inspirational and ignorant. It's the double I. That's my new shirt, double eyes.
No.
And after that, it's time for our retired hood rat word. Well, prayer. That was the word. Sorry. Retired rat prayer. You don't have to belong to any deity to do this prayer. You don't have to do this prayer. It's not about Jehovah, Hishnu, Allah. It's just about the universe and putting positivity out into the universe that'll come with you. We got our guests, Tanisha and Emily Parks, in the building to talk with you all about addressing Black childhood trauma. Ladies, y'all ready to pray?
Yes, I'm ready to
Yes.
pray all the time.
Let's get it. Okay. Bow your heads. But if you driving, do not bow your head. Because if you crash your car, you will not say that it was me and God that did it. You won't do that. So let us bow our heads. Dear God, we are thankful and we understand that gratitude is what gets us to the next level. God, we are truly thankful for making sure that we have air to breathe, that we are healthy, that we are functional. And God, any issues that we have, we are claiming that they are already fixed. God, we are claiming for better self-esteem, better
Amen.
interactions, better people, more money, more finances, better parenting opportunities, better relationships, healthy relationships, and lasting love for a meaningful life, God. God, I just ask that if there is one person here who is struggling with the thought of being thankful for anything, that you give them a thought to be
Yeah.
thankful for right now, and that you understand that if you are thankful now, you will continue to be thankful and you will be blessed abundantly. In your name we
Yeah.
pray. Amen.
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 Where the organ at?
Amen.
Where the organ at? Dun, 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 dun.
Woo! Girl, I felt that right there in the
Right. Okay.
spirit.
Did you
I
feel it
was
Amen.
in
We
your
needed that
fine.
spirit?
today.
Amen.
We needed that
Okay, so this
empowerment.
Retired Hood Rat podcast on Detroit is different. Make sure you go subscribe to my YouTube, comedian T.Barb, and to Spotify. So we have our two guests. We're gonna start with Miss Emily Parks. What up, though, Em?
What up, though, T.Barb?
Thank you for coming on. Tell the audience a little bit about Uplift Program and what it is that you do.
Yes, so the name of our program is Uplift Family Services. We're a maternal infant health program. We service Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County. As I started state of Michigan employee riding in the state cars with the emblems on the side, and basically wanted to be on the preventable side. I saw what was going on when it's time to take kids out and how that really affected parents and families. So I said, what could I do on the preventative side? And then after I became a mom, I even got more in tune, especially with the African American community. We have the highest infant and maternal mortality rate than third world countries. So that was just something in itself that said, hey, something has to be done. And I love what I do. Me and my husband, we're very passionate about it. We've been going at it strong since I want to say 2012 with a nonprofit, but this is our for-profit Uplift Family Services. So if there's anyone out there that is in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb County, if you need assistance while you're pregnant or have a baby up into the age of 1, definitely contact us at www.upliftfamilyservicesofmi.org or give us a call 313-757-4943. And we just offer a variety of services from parenting classes. Now we're offering an awesome trauma series. So it's just really been an experience. And like you said, just gratitude and having that humbleness to be able to give back. That's what it's all about. And that's what I'm here for.
Woo! Can we get some little applause? Bam, 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 bam. Look, come on. He on it. He is on it. Thank you so much. We're going to get more into that. And yes, Emily was riding in the state cars with me. We
Yes.
had the emblem on. We was having a good time too. Tanisha, can you tell us what about your organization and how long you've been doing what you do?
Well, my name is Tanisha Hayes, and I am the executive director, founder of the House of Angels One Inc. And how I've been doing this since 2009. Okay, how it started was I went into the Detroit public schools. The first school that I entered in was Catherine Ferguson. That was the school for girls. And I myself am a teenage mother. So the first school that I went to was called Booth Memorial. What was it called? Booth Memorial School.
Oh, that's before our time, Tanisha. Now you tell.
I know and everything.
We like
so,
Booth
yeah,
Memorial.
it was down there on the boulevard in 4th Street.
Okay.
So that's where I started, right? And so 2009, I went to Catherine Ferguson because that was the school that was in Detroit during that time that actually catered and educated the young women with babies. So I went in there and I mentored groups. So we started with mentoring groups. And the first thing it was about was domestic violence because I myself was in a domestic violence relationship. So from that, that's how God began to inspire me to go forth and use my story and use my life to impact a community of women. I promise you that we stay in that stuff. We got a million reasons to get out, but sometimes we have a million reasons to stay. So I will be that one to just try to bring some kind of knowledge and understanding to why we do what we do. And so from that was 2009, right? So from that, I was in there for 2 years. I was there 2 years and then they closed down. So then from there, I went to Vista Maria and I went in again with my program of the No More Silence to Domestic Violence Initiative. So in that initiative, that's a program that I created that again give education on prevention, awareness, and counsel in domestic violence. Because I'm gonna tell you, some people don't think that you need counseling or you need a therapist or you need, a whole village of people to help you get a whole different mindset coming out of a domestic violence relationship. A lot of people has been, as they say, brainwashed, coerced into that being that it's okay to be in that, and that's our truth, but really it's not. So from that, I was really encouraged. I really was. I was really encouraged to be like, okay, it's more to the domestic violence, right? It's more to the domestic violence. So what else can I collaborate with to really bring to our community knowledge? And not only knowledge, but empowerment so that we can change. And that not only that we change, but then we begin to help somebody else change. And so I got into trauma-informed care. So then I'm like, okay, this is traumatic. Because again, people don't think domestic violence is traumatic. They don't think it's traumatic until somebody dies. They don't realize that you just traumatized the whole time, even from a slap, even from being cussed out, even from being all of your self-worth being drawn out of you from a parasite. Oh, it's very traumatic. So
Tanisha, Let me
Go ahead.
let me ask you this question,
Mhm.
especially since the title of today's show is
Mhm.
addressing childhood trauma
Mhm.
in the Black community. And I think you touched on two things that I would like for you and Emily to elaborate on. One
Mhm.
is even being a teenage mother.
Mhm.
And I know having a child is beautiful, but actually addressing the trauma that sometimes come with being a child with a child.
Ooh.
Yes.
That
Yes.
so let's go into that before I even touch on the domestic violence, because I think that you
Mhm.
made a lot of key points,
Mhm.
especially in our community. And you think about like
Mhm.
Blueface and Krishan Rock. I don't know if you know who
Mhm.
they are, Tanisha, but they're a young couple. I mean, I'm
Blueface.
not saying
Well,
that,
you
or
know what?
Whitney
I
and
seen that,
Bobby.
and that's funny you said that. I seen that a little article on what's that YouTube, and the girl was saying something about, see, I got a tattoo on my neck, and I really couldn't get into what they were saying because I'm like, what is they talking about? And they like, who was Blueface? Say he was arrested, and so something else clicked it off. It like went to a commercial and threw me off. So I didn't hear, but I did kind of catch a little bit of it, but I didn't get the story behind it.
Well, I give you just a little input, just to
Okay.
kind of know it and to give something to piggyback. So this is the
Okay.
new Bobby and Whitney, is
Okay.
Krishan Rock and Blueface. And the reason we say that is because they're always fighting. He knocked one of her teeth out. He has a lot of
Wow.
tattoos. He goes back and forth between another baby mother that he's dating and her. And it's just always a lot of fighting. And this generation has chose to champion that. Whereas when
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna got Chris Brown, we demonized him. Whereas now
Yes.
it seems like that's becoming
It's
the
acceptable.
norm. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
So can you okay, domestic violence next, but can you speak to the issues that sometimes carry on into our community when children have children in our
Children. Mm-hmm.
community? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, me, I was 14. Okay. Now y'all get ready, right? Just hold on to your seat. 'Cause
We
when I
ready.
tell my story, people be like, okay. I was 14, okay, when I first had my baby. He was 28, right? Okay. So that means that he's a whole full grown man, has a whole life,
Full
right?
grown.
He's
Full
already
grown.
he halfway through his life, okay? So me, I'm just starting out with life, and I got a whole baby, okay? And he was dating, okay, other women, okay? So this might can help with that little Whitney and Bobby thing going on. He was dating other people, right? Within his age range. So mind you, I'm only 14. Okay. So it's only so much I can do. Because I'm if he get caught with me, that's statutory rape. Period. Okay. So he had to tread very lightly with me. However, the women that he dealt with, they don't tread lightly. They make it very relevant. He was my first trauma situation, seriously.
Mm.
Okay. Now being pregnant, I figured it was, well, I'm pregnant and I'm just gonna have a baby. So throughout my pregnancy, I hid it. I had to hide it. I had to hide it from my family first. Because again, I was 14, he was 28. So I had to hide it. Okay. I couldn't just show out and enjoy this pregnancy because I was too young. So that kind of bothered me too, because I wanted
Yeah.
to, what I'm saying, celebrate my baby. And him dealing with other women, right? She was openly, coming and saying things, putting things out in the forefront
Mm.
of antagonizing him because of me.
So
Mm.
Tanisha, let me ask you this question
Mm-hmm.
as well, because I just want you to tap on it briefly. You say
Mm-hmm.
he was 28 and you were 14. How did
Mm-hmm.
that even start? How did that relationship as a 14-year-old girl with a 28-year-old man even start?
Okay. Okay, that started. We lived next door. My family lived next door to him. Because again, he's 28, got his
See?
own place. He lived next door. And, he would just be flirty. He would be flirty. And I would be like, he must don't know how old I am. He doesn't know, you know what I mean? Because I carried myself. Understand? Because I come from circumstances before I met him. Okay. I come from
Okay.
molestations. You understand?
Okay.
So I'm
Uh-huh.
Mm.
already open, right? I'm consensual to if I'm gonna have sex versus you just coercing me to have it. Okay. So he thought that I was older than what I was. To him, he said I looked like I was a grown woman because I'm
Okay.
built like and shaped like I'm a grown woman. So he just
Which
assumed.
most of these young girls are.
Yes. Okay. So that can very well how men be attracted to these young girls. Okay. We built like we adults, but we're not. We somebody's baby. I was
But
that
let me
woman. I
ask you
was
this,
built like I
Tanisha.
was grown.
He was your
Uh-huh.
neighbor, right? But he was your neighbor,
Yes.
correct? So that means
Mm-hmm.
that even though you were built a certain way, he really had
Mm-hmm.
access to finding out the information that he wanted
He
because you all
absolutely
were
yes.
neighbors. So
Absolutely.
Emily, let me ask you this, and not to
Absolutely.
stop because this is we gonna have to bring it back because this is a lot. And the
It's
reason
a
why I
lot.
bring
It's a
that up,
lot.
That's what
I
I
bring
said.
that
You're
up
gonna have to pull
because
your seat.
we have
Yeah.
so many men
Yeah.
that, in my opinion, hide behind
Mm,
she looked like an adult.
mm-mm.
Yes.
Hide behind she had this
Yes.
type of body when
No.
they know once
Yeah.
they start initiate a conversation. And I know when we're 14 and 15 and 16, we
Mm-hmm.
really think we sounding a lot more mature. But if you listen to a
If you
15-year-old
listen to
now,
us, you know we
you be
You be
like,
did. You
looking
know you're
like,
a
I
child.
thought I
Yes.
was I really
Indeed.
thought I was sounding
Indeed.
smart.
Indeed.
So that's an issue. And she touched on molestation in the community. Emily, I know that you work with a lot of teenage mothers with the Noah
yes.
Project and with Uplift program. How often do you see that narrative of that grown man with that teenage girl?
Oh, well, that is often the mindset. It's
Mhm.
really actually,
Oh.
at least Tanisha was upfront about her age. Now girls are like, since I look this way, I'm gonna tell them and lie about my age because it's a money thing. Like it's been R. Kelly's to me since back in the day. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. Even when I was in school, like
That's real.
outside the cast, it was probably people watching or lurking or looking because of
Mm-hmm.
the shape. But it's unfortunate
Mm-hmm.
for these young ladies. They're seeking something.
Mm-hmm.
They're seeking that love because of past traumas. Like we talking about childhood traumas,
Mm-hmm.
being in the system, being abandoned, being neglected. So they go out there and they look for a father figure when
Mm-hmm.
we already know this father figure is not who you need to be with, who does not have your best interest, who does not even want to be a father to this child, let alone
Mm-hmm.
be dealing with you.
Mhm.
So that's why when I'm telling them, I'm like, hey, it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you first addressing why are you even dealing with or willing to be with the older man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so even Tanisha, so let me ask you
Mm-hmm.
this. So you
Mm-hmm.
were upfront with him and telling him you were 14 years old and he was 28.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like looking back that when you were 14, and I know you mentioned you were molested before,
Mm-hmm.
the reason you were willing to get into that relationship
Mm-hmm.
was seeking love or a father figure or some type of affection?
Well, my father was very prevalent in my life. I wasn't seeking love. See, my father was my assailant.
Mm.
Okay. My father, however, he was loving, kind. He was there for me. You see what I'm saying? He never left my life to the day he died. He never left my life. I wasn't looking for love, right? But what I was attracted to, because now let me tell you, us young women, we gotta own how we move too now. Okay. Now we gotta own it. We can't put it all on the man. I get it, he wrong because he's an adult. But let me tell you something. There's a persuasion that's in us. Okay.
Yes, say that.
That draws that man to be okay with the fact that you're 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Because my thing was this. Okay. At 14 years old, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I
That's
was very wise. Okay. My conversations probably weren't talking about oh, I'm going to school, candy and lollipops. Not at all. Now, for him, he worked, this man had a lot to lose. I didn't deal with guys, right, that couldn't take care of themselves. That was my mindset at 14. I promise you everything I love. This man worked at GM to the day he retired from there. He cared about me. He loved his child. He never left. He took care of his
You
baby. Now,
and,
him being how he is, he never changed from being with them women and doing his thing. That's him. However, he did step up. He took care of our child. Even to this day, they can call him and they still talk to their dad. He's still around. Matter of fact, he just called me. But I'm telling you, it was very different for me. It really was. He really liked me. He really wanted to be in a relationship. He didn't care that everybody knew how old I was. My mother, when she found out how old, I was afraid to tell her, but I had to, because she talking about we gonna put the baby for adoption. I'm looking at her sideways like, no, she give me his phone number because I'm calling him. She called him. She said, listen, you done got my daughter pregnant, and we giving this baby for adoption. He said, no, you're not. He said, you can give me my baby. I can take care of my child. You're not giving my baby up.
Now, I will say this.
Go ahead.
No, I'll say this. I think that, and I'm always one of those people that I always can agree to disagree. And I don't know, Emily could tell you, I've been doing what I want to do since I was 11. My parents were heroin addicts. So I've been like buying my own school clothes since I was 13. I've been giving my mother and my father money, and my daddy lost his kidneys and all that. I still don't agree, and this is just my opinion, that no matter how mature a 14, 15, 16-year-old is, it still don't compare to a 28-year-old man.
Not at all.
And don't get me wrong, because I look at somebody like Celine Dion, right? Yeah. She got with her dude when she was 13 and he was her manager, and they stayed together till he died and had a lasting love. I'm not saying it can't work, but to me, I still see a controlling, sadistic nature in that for a grown man, because even if y'all could be talking and I know about trees and I can help you start a business, but that still don't mean that he can't have you do what he wants you to do at a drop of a dime. You just happen to get somebody that was decent. It's a lot of guys in that same, and not a girl working on the track, or not a girl thinks she has control and she's being manipulated. You just happen to be on that different end of the spectrum. You know what I mean? But I think in general, anybody with that type of age difference, I'm talking about up to a certain age, even up to 25, because I know people that's 20 with a 60-year-old, and you know what it's about. I don't care how much.
And then I would say this too about the teenage girls. I mean, on these videos, they flashing money. They got all these chains. And if I don't have $5-10 to my name, and a guy come flashing money, and I need it, what you gonna go? You gonna go with it? It's some of these girls who are out here prostituting themselves.
Yes, they are,
just to feed their babies. So it's a no judgment zone, because we never know nobody's situation. But it does cause trauma either way.
Yes, it does.
And you have to learn how to deal with that trauma and where is that coming from.
Yeah,
and that's why I like that we doing this trauma series, because we all go through some type of trauma, whether you want to believe it or not. We all have some type of trauma, whether it's self-trauma, whether it's been financial trauma, domestic violence, physical, sexual. We've all had some form of trauma in our life, betrayal, abandonment. But the whole thing is, it's going to be a pattern you're going to start to see throughout your life.
Yeah. And repetition,
you're going to be like, where's all this coming from? Why do I feel so much anger? Why I don't trust people? Why I feel like I'm out here on my own? Why I feel a certain way about men? Why some men with men? Why some females with females?
Yeah.
Because they've been traumatized by the opposite sex.
Yes.
So all of that, it's so real. Like you said, we could be talking about it for days and hours, but just touching on it, it's that flashiness. Yeah. Oh, I need some money.
Yeah.
He got money.
Yeah. So it's more of, sometimes you feel like the trauma starts on a financial basis, meaning that it's wants and needs. But let me ask you this, Emily. You mentioned a trauma series. Can you tell me a little bit about what's the trauma series and what are you guys coming on, and what exactly is that covering? What is that about?
Oh, yes. So trauma-informed care. I'm going to let Tanisha speak on it because she actually leads the series. I brought her on because she's a life coach as well, but it's a 7-week series. So basically we breaking it all down from the beginning to the end, from you sharing your story to how you're going to learn what triggers you have, why you might be feeling the way you feeling now with relationships, from how it affects your body physically, mentally, and emotionally. So all of those type of things we have been covering. But Tanisha, if you want to cover some of the topics over these past 2 weeks.
Okay, so trauma-informed care, when what I do is I bring in, if I can say this, an explanation to bring clarity, okay? Because what happens is this, just like we were just talking about me being a 14-year-old girl pregnant by a 28-year-old man, that's traumatizing. You understand what I'm saying? Some people may just be like, oh, it's just an interaction or that. No. When you sit back and realize that how much your body as a 14-year-old kid turned into a woman because you're pregnant, and your body is saying you're a whole woman because you can be pregnant, it's something takes course in your mind. I'm becoming a mother, but I just became a teenager. How that work together? Mother, teenager. I haven't even experienced what I need to experience as a kid. But now I'm a mother. I'm responsible for somebody, and somebody's holding me accountable to make sure that they're good. So that for me was a lot. Okay. Now that's just one situation. So and not to mention my molestations and abuse and all these things that had occurred before I ever even met this man or got pregnant. Okay. That's never been dealt with. A lot of people come and you got stacks and stacks and stacks of trauma in your life. And you're not understanding why you stay sick physically. Headaches, high blood pressure, heart disease, all of these things. They'll attach a lot of this stuff again to your DNA, saying it's hereditary or you overweight or you this. Never giving us a diagnosis, it coming from our trauma. We got facts that this stuff really do cause this issues. And a lot of people didn't even realize that a lot of their issues stem from their traumatic experience that we suppressed. We suppressed that stuff. We don't talk about it. We learn how to suppress it, move over, and navigate through it. That's a bad place and space that I've learned. And I'm like, okay, enough is enough. As I watch my grandchildren, I'd be like, wow, okay, these kids during the pandemic, they were little and in school and this, and then all of a sudden their behaviors changed, their mannerisms changed. I'm like, what's going on? But that really traumatized them kids because they knew. My grandkids would be like, you will call, oh, you got coronavirus.
Yeah. They scared to go outside, touch a package, be around their friends.
Come on.
And it is so much trauma. But I want to ask you another question you touched on. So Tanisha, for real, because I'm following up. Tanisha, so you mentioned, so when you became pregnant, it was layered trauma you had already went through. Let me ask you this: as a victim of a molestation, when that happened, did you feel open to talking to your parents about it?
No, I was 4 when it happened.
Okay.
And again, like I said, it was my father. So therefore, I hid it from my mother and them because I love my daddy. I wasn't gonna say anything. I didn't even think nothing was really wrong. I didn't understand what's going on at 4. I didn't understand it because it's a coercion. He didn't penetrate me. He found it.
And if I could piggyback on that too,
Go ahead.
Molestation within the family. I didn't confront my perpetrator till I was an adult.
Yeah.
So, like she said, suppressing that and suppressing that because I don't know what it is about, again, our African American community and this stigma. What stays at home, got to be in the home. Yeah. We can't have no therapy. That's for the crazy people. We need to let all that go. It's time to talk to somebody. It's
done. Yeah.
That look like you, that can relate to you, that's inventing things like you. And that's why we hear like, hey, we've been there. We not, this not fake people. This real people.
That's real talk.
And I think that those things that you said are barriers to people actually seeking help because
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to be viewed as being molested. They don't
They
want to be
don't.
viewed as having a mental illness. They
Yeah.
don't want to be viewed as I need medicine, I'm crazy. Not understanding that everybody needs somebody to talk to. Even a person that doesn't have a diagnosis, that's never been molested, that just
That's true.
being a
Yeah.
human being
Being.
puts
Yes.
PD. Every
That's
time you go
good.
outside, you hear a
That's good,
siren,
sis.
you see a
Yep.
car accident,
Yep. That's good.
somebody got
That's
hit,
real
you was
talk.
riding past.
Yeah.
Those things, you ran down the street, see a whole bunch of abandoned houses. Those things are
Come
trauma
on.
to your psyche
Come
every
on.
day
Yes.
that you
Come
see
on,
them.
sis.
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
that even,
That's
especially
real.
in Detroit, you walk outside, you see some abandoned, then somebody get hit by a car, then you ride past a crime scene. All
Yep.
that's still in your mind, whether
Come
it
on
was
now.
you
Come on now.
personally
Talk
or
about it.
not. So I
My
think that
my
those are
kids
things.
be seeing police sirens like we about to get pulled over.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
police about to call us out, and I'm like, no, baby, they going this way. It's just like so traumatic because they didn't seen stuff
Yeah.
with the
So
police.
much.
It's too much.
And
Yeah.
with the internet, it makes it even more because
Oh,
you think about it. All they got to do is go click a button and see somebody get killed. I remember we didn't have those opportunities.
None of that.
So
None of that.
let me ask you this. What are some tips? So someone who has been through trauma, who is trying to address it and get out of that hole right now, what are some things that they can do to address those issues and improve their life?
well, I would say as a therapist, first try to talk to somebody. You know,
Mhm.
talk to somebody if you can, join a support group, or even if you want to just start with a journal and writing that stuff down that you're dealing with mentally. That would be my first step if you dealing with it and you're not ready to talk about it. If you are ready to talk about it, you can definitely join our trauma series and come on Thursdays, and we definitely will disclose that location with you, and you can come and get that support you need there. But definitely my first thing would be to find out exactly what type of traumas you are going through and how it has affected you, and talking to somebody or writing those things down.
Emily, and here's another question. So for those who don't feel like they're going through trauma, what are some of the symptoms that you may be experiencing some childhood trauma that's affecting you as an adult?
Oh, well, it could be from
I mean,
your mental.
Tanisha, you like them
Go ahead,
questions,
Tanisha.
girl.
Yeah, let's Tanisha, but go ahead, because I've been talking. Go, Tanisha.
No, I'm just saying, no, I was saying I could tell she liked the question because she like, but both of y'all can answer that. Just
Go
give
ahead,
y'all
Tanisha, go
both of y'all
ahead.
tips.
No, I'm tripping because I'm like, ooh, how can you tell?
Yeah.
So we
Let me
did
tell
a
you something, like,
series that
seriously.
said, "Would you date trauma?" Right?
Yeah.
And you don't know what trauma look like. That's what's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it affects you mentally. Like you might have, like you said, anxiety, depression. Some people go bipolar, schizophrenia. Those are some mental ways. Physically, high blood pressure, headaches, being tired all the time. Sexually, you not might be attached to your partner like you want to be. You might be an alpha female or alpha male. Those are just some of the things, and it's a test that you can also do. If you would like a childhood a trauma assessment or just a trauma assessment, and see maybe if you are dealing with trauma, if you're not sure.
Those are all good tips. And Tanisha, you said something. You was like, who can you tell? And I want to make a plug for that's another reason why it's a good idea to get a therapist, because at least that person is a non-biased person and they're held by law and a professional standard not to tell your business unless you committed a crime. So those are good ways to have somebody that you know not gonna go tell such and such and tell such, or that you're not gonna feel judged on a regular basis, because we all know you can tell a friend something about someone and you forgive them and your friend don't never forgive them, which cause a rift or cause more problems. So if you go get you a therapist, you can talk to them about whatever, and they get paid, so they got to just listen, and
they
you
trying
can
to keep
get it all out. Yeah, they trying to keep they check, you know.
Mhm.
So those
Yeah.
are good. Those are good ways. Ladies, let me say this. How important is it for us? I mean, for everybody, but especially in the Black community,
Mhm.
to seek help for trauma. How important is that for us to have
Ooh,
those support services in place?
my God. That's just, that's something that should be in place today, right now, and never removed. Reason why? It's because think about trauma. Think about like yesterday. I was going over a few things. No, that was last week, the week before. We were in class and we were talking about people being diagnosed being bipolar, schizophrenic, and all these other things. What was it? ADD and ADHD. Them diagnosing the children with the IEP in the schools, right? Well, from that, a lot of these kids has been traumatized. See,
Mhm.
me being 4 years old, I hadn't started school yet, right? So could you imagine me going 5 years old, being in the kids in the room around a bunch of kids, but isolating myself, not engaging. So the first thing they want to do is we'll say, right, oh, well, let's see if she's on the spectrum of autism. Okay,
Mm.
because she's socially not, she's not socially aware with the children, she's not socially grouped with the other children, she's withdrawn. Let's see what's causing the withdrawal. Let's see what's causing the altered development in this child. So the first thing they want to do is try to diagnose me with something mental, never thinking it was the trauma that she endured a year before being molested.
Mm.
So that's just a post-traumatic stress disorder back then. You understand? What was they calling it back? What did they call it? Shock syndrome or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't right. They didn't put the PTSD for these type situations like
Mhm.
molestations and stuff like that. They didn't put nothing on that
They
yet.
made you seem like that's only for
Come on
somebody in
now. That was only
Vietnam.
for the people that
Right.
went to
Yeah,
war.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you got a kid in the classroom, again, like I said, they're withdrawn from the social activities. They're even not really even getting involved in the motor skills. They're drained because their brain is overworking in that trauma about that molestation. So it's really pulling and it's exhausting them.
And it
Okay,
is.
but you're not thinking about that. The thing you're thinking about, like I said, you want to bring out the spectrum for autism. You want to bring on the maybe it's the ADD or the ADHA or whatever it is when a kid is not really in tune with
Look, we
what's
do
going
not
on.
condone the use of different letters. Like, no,
Exactly.
messing with you because you will mess it up. The TTD. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, the
It's I keep
MAPD and
You
all
know
myself
what
that.
she's
I know
saying,
the
though.
ADD,
You
ADD,
know what she's
MAPD,
saying.
quick.
The WEDNES.
ADHD, attention
You
deficit
The
know,
disorder. As
PINK.
a
The
clinical
PINK.
professional, everybody listening, as a
the
clinical
OPP, y'all.
professional, is attention deficit
So it's
disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity
deficit
disorder.
disorder.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Emily
Okay.
breaks it
And
down.
post-traumatic stress disorder. We
Stress disorder.
apologize about the
No,
ABC.
no, no. This is the Retired Hoodrat show. Relapse a part of recovery. Okay. We getting deep. If we mess up a few little letters, it's okay because you get the point. Okay. What my mug say, by humbug. Okay. You get
See,
it.
I'm still seeing out, and
The
it ain't helping that
BAH.
me and
Like, no.
you is silly. It's not helping that me and her is just silly. You know what I'm saying? To help the people
Now let me
realize, but
ask
on
y'all
the
this.
real side of
Um,
things,
we
they
are
want to
on with two
diagnose.
amazing.
Yeah,
Huh? I said we
yeah.
are on with two amazing young ladies. You are listening to the Retired Hoodrat Podcast on Detroit is Different. Don't forget to go over to YouTube and subscribe to comedian T.Barb. You can also hear new episodes every Thursday on Spotify, Google Play. So go subscribe, comedian T.Barb. You can also follow us on all social media platforms. Detroit is Different or comedian T.Barb or I am T.Barb. We are on with Emily Parks from the Uplift program. Can we get a little dun, 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 dun? Come on. Engineer to the stars, my baby. Engineer to the stars. And give it up for my girl, Tanisha, also known as Nisha Do. It's like,
She done made you up for
Didn't
that.
and
name
they
me.
have a
I love her.
7-week trauma series. Let me ask you this before we get into our final segment on work-life balance. Let them know. Let's say this. Let's say this. We did some tips. We've talked about childhood trauma, molestation. Of course, you could go on and on about this. That's why you guys need to be in the building. If you're in the Metro Detroit area for that 7-week series, if you're all across the country, because we have listeners across the country, find you some mental health services in your area that covers those things.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
But as two Black women who have been through trauma, let me ask you this. What was the number one thing that helped push you through? How did you get over that hump to go from being a victim of trauma to a victor of trauma?
Okay.
I would say, listen, too, for me, God, number one in my life.
Period.
And number two, a therapist. So you got to talk to somebody. You got to break that stigma, and you really have to talk to somebody. I mean, you can talk to Auntie Shoo Shoo and cousin Tawana, and they gonna tell you they 2 cents. But you really need to go talk to a professional. And I always say, talk to somebody that look like you. If you don't trust everybody, at least talk to a professional that looks like you, that you can trust.
Amen.
But keeping God first in my life, prayer. And also, I put Jesus in prayer. Maybe I should make that a shirt. T.Barb, Jesus and prayer.
Hey, that's what you. Hey, if that's what you want to say, you go on ahead. It's J and P, Jesus and prayer. Tanisha, what about you? 2 things.
So for me, all I can say is this, honey. Definitely God. I tell you, really, God did, and counsel. Definitely God and counsel. You got to get that. That, you know, and I'll just say this. When you get God, he brings truth to you. Okay. So all the denying and making excuses and justifying our behavior, our thoughts, we could just gotta say, I got all that. I got all that. You know,
listen,
he brings us
faith
to our
without
truth.
works. Faith without works is dead.
That's
So
right.
it has been amazing having you ladies. Oh my God, the time goes by so fast. It's the Retired Hoodrat Podcast with comedian T.Barb. We have Uplift program. Give me that name one more time, because I'll be messing it up. Because it's the end. She got the end is killing it. So I want you guys to announce where you're gonna be at, how everybody can find you, and give us your biggest work-life balance tip, because not only are these phenomenal ladies executive directors and owners and doing it big for the community, as well as bringing awareness to trauma, they also have their own families and their own lives. And sometimes as Black women, we can get consumed with work. So what is something that you do in your work-life balance, and how can they get in touch with you?
I'll say my website again. Get in contact with me at www.upliftfamilyservicesofmi.org. Go to that contact us page and select workshop, and we can definitely get you transportation. We offer some snacks and stuff there. You there for 2 hours. I can't give my address because I don't want no line forming outside of my office. So we do want to RSVP for these events so I can know who needs a pickup. But work-life balance, I would say self-care.
Period.
I was neglecting myself. Yeah. And once I stopped neglecting myself and at least taking time out for me, because we got to have, we not good to nobody if we not good to ourselves.
That's real.
So self-care is my number one priority, even if it's a bubble bath. I'm getting my self-care in for the week, if not every day. Okay.
I heard that.
Self-care. That's Emily Park's Uplift program. One more time with that website.
www.upliftfamilyservicesofmi.org.
Make sure you go see Uplift. They also have maternal maternal infant health program. So for anybody in the Metro Detroit area and you need diapers or help or learning
Yes.
nutrition for your baby, Emily also does that. Tanisha,
Mhm.
tell them how they can get in touch with you, support your organization, and also a work-life balance tip.
Awesome. Okay, I can be contacted at www.houseofangels1.vpweb.com. There, you are able to sign up for the trauma informed classes as well. You also will be able to see, pictures of things that we've done, and you could blog, you could leave a comment. You can also in there as well. You could see how we do the mentoring, how we have the initiative for the domestic violence, and the coaching as well. All of those are on that platform. And far as getting yourself together, as they say all the time, relax. Relax your mind,
Relax.
relax your mind and your thoughts, right? And then release. Find you somebody again. Go in the professional world one time, please. And when I say professional world, get you some counsel, some good counsel. You understand what I'm saying? To release, right? And then you'll be able to be a better you. You'll be able to be a better you, your truth. Live your
That's
life,
what
love
I'm
life
talking
abundantly.
about. That is
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on the Retired Hood Rat Podcast. Don't forget new episodes every Monday at 9 a.m. So go over to YouTube. If you want to see what we look like, you can see us there. The page is comedian T.Barb. That's T.B.A.R.B. And then if you just want to hear, you can go over to Spotify, comedian T.Barb. You don't have to see me in my little bangs because I got the bangs banging. You can also follow me on TikTok, comedian T.Barb. On Instagram, I am T.Barb. It's up. Don't forget, every last Wednesday of the month, I'm at the Detroit House of Comedy. So come see me do some comedy live every last Wednesday of the month at the Detroit House of Comedy. And that's inside of Hockey Town. You can keep up with me and on things T-Barb on my website, www.tbarb.funny.com. Go watch my new video, Scoochie on the Coochie, Scoochie on the Coochie, which is on
I
my
was just
YouTube
listening.
channel.
Gucci on the
And
Gucci. Hey,
scooch, scooch. And also, you can listen to my new comedy audio album on Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play. It's T-Barb Live at the Independent. T-Barb Live at the Independent. I appreciate you guys so much. And until
we
next
appreciate
time,
you.
retire from being a hood rat, but we know that relapse
Period.
is a part of the recovery. Only in Detroit. What up, though? I'm out.
Thank you,
Bye
Tim.
bye.